GamePod, the ultimate race rig for those serious about sim racing. Puts you in the driver's seat with all the controls at your fingertips. Be number one on the road, in the race, in the game. GamePod, the choice of champions.
Hello and welcome to the 8th round of the Virtual V8 Supercars 2012 Championship. This is live from Oran Park, and this is the 8th round of the Championship. As I was saying, there's 3 races to go, including this one. Round 9 will see us go to Sydney Park, then round 10 to Mount Panorama, and of course that is the final event, 500 kilometres on the 22nd of September, should I say. And of course this Oran Park no longer exists, but we can still, of course, drive around this track on rFactor, thanks to the lovely work of the Bob's Track builder creator Brendan Pywell and people like him, who have laser scanned this track and have made it suitable, of course, for us to be able to drive on. And this is obviously a fantastic, almost archaeological relic back for us all to enjoy this, rather than it being lost to everyone forever. Thankfully sim racers can still race around it. We can still see V8 Supercars around it also. And the fastest so far in the first practice is Danny Asbury, although the fastest in pre-season practice has been William Levesque, the winner of the last 2 races, the self-proclaimed master of Oran Park. He apparently uses uses this track to test every car that he ever races. And William Levesque is in 2nd place at the moment. There he is out on track, just behind Danny Asbury on the field. You can actually see here, Danny Asbury has switched to an independent drive, but he's running a 151 Motorsports livery, as you can see. So he's left the ATR Nocturne organisation and now driving for 151 Motorsports, as you can see, using the same livery that Andy Johns used at Simmons Plains. Andy Johns is using, just find Andy Johns. And Johns is using a slightly new livery. There you go. It's pretty similar, but if you look closely at the side, you can see there is a different sponsor on the side. Recover Canterbury. And Johns showing great support for, of course, for that area of New Zealand that was affected so badly by the earthquakes a couple of years ago, and still struggling to rebuild the area there. And of course, Andy running the sponsorship. Look, that's a better shot there. You can see it right there. Recover Canterbury. So make sure you check that out also. But as we say, at the front of the field, we have Danny Asbury, who is leading. We have 2nd place William Levesque. He's 2nd in the championship, of course, as well. 61 points behind Jesper Torborg. There's 50 points for a win with 3 races to go. So it's a long shot for William to win this championship, but I'm sure he's going to fight all the way to the end. Of course, his teammate is Jesper Torborg. It's fine, Jesper. It's a bit further down the field than he normally is at the moment, but this is just practice, of course, and 8 minutes to go until qualifying. Jesper Torborg is leading the championship. He's taken 3 wins this season, of course, 3 wins in a row at Adelaide, Hidden Valley and Yas Marina, whereas William has taken the last 2 wins, round 6 at Pukekohe, round 7 at Simmons Plains, and it's really bringing the fight to Jesper Torborg. The story has been basically that Levesque had a poor middle of the season, and that has hampered him throughout the rest of the season, and that he's just lost ground to Jesper Torborg. He's only been off the podium once this season. That was a 4th place, so it's barely off the podium at the last event. Adrian Hall and Peter Davilar finding themselves on the podium in that event, their first podiums of the season, and the first pole position of the season for Kevin Brent. Here he is. He's just in the pits at the moment, awaiting the qualifying session. He took pole position at Simmons Plains. Maybe he can do the same here today. He's not too far off. Of course, this is one of the most difficult tracks in the calendar, probably even more difficult by my reckoning than Sydney Park, because in Sydney Park it's not quite so undulating, not quite so bumpy, and not quite so accurate, and William Levesque pushing very, very hard there through turn 4, up now over the bridge. There he goes, and around, and there's a figure of 8 circuit here, as you can see. There it is. There's the track map for you. Figure of 8 circuit. As you can go down towards turn 1 there. That's along the straight and up to the right hand side as you look at it. Then you turn left into a little kink, and then it's a very difficult section because you run it into that kink almost flat out. You have to slow it down, getting it straight again, braking for the hairpin that is turn 2, and then go under the bridge down towards turn 3 should I say, then to turn 4, and it brings you up over the bridge then, round turn 5 and turn 6, and then you dive downhill through turn 7, and then uphill once again at turn 8, and then across the flip-flop as it's called at turn 9 and 10. I apologise, I got a bit of a cold in the last few days, so if I go silent a couple of times, it's just because I'm coughing my guts out. I apologise for that. And then in the final turn, you dip down and then back up again for the final straight. So it's a very roller coaster circuit. Let's ride aboard with William Levesque in this practice session. Let's just quickly show you what we were talking about as he runs through. Now here we go, up the hill, building speed, trying to squeeze the speed on through there while turning. And then you've got to hit the apex there on the inside. Got to keep very, very tight indeed. It's easy to push too hard, of course, because the car goes very light across the top of the bridge, and of course you don't get as much grip. Now downhill into the dip and then uphill once again. Very, very easy here to hit that curve and spin out. Looks like William Levesque just did slightly there. Then over the flip-flop here, the right and then the left. It's actually almost flat out, but not quite. We saw a humongous accident there for Adam Egbeer last year, sliding straight off after an accident further round the circle. In fact, we'll show you exactly where it was. It was down here, coming down towards turn 1 and turn 2. William Levesque is going down towards here. He goes into first turn, and that's how difficult that first turn is right there. William Levesque's gone straight off. And this is the section where it was that Callan had the accident. He span there. He shoved James Johnson up that escape road there. Adam Egbeer collided with him. Adam carried on round the track, round here, with a damaged car. Got round towards the flip-flop, as I was saying. Had no grip, went straight on. Hit the tyre wall extremely hard, car burst into flames and rebounded in front of none other than Gary Lennon and James Johnson, who were also trying to go around the track and just get out of the way of everybody else. So it's a humongous accident, probably the second biggest accident I've seen in TPS history. That was only usurped this year by the huge accident that Chris Butcher had at Hidden Valley after contact with Loeffler and having his teammate James Johnson T-bone him down towards turn 3, I think it was. So that's the story there. There it was, right there with that piece of bodywork here. So Levesque is very wide at the final turn, just get a run onto the straight, trying to get a good run here. It's obviously trying to do a qualifying run. There is a pitch right there on your right hand side. Very difficult pit entry here. It can be quite tricky. And Levesque down into turn 1 now, looks much better fist of it that time around. Now into turn 2. There's a big curve on the inside. It's very easy to clip that curve, and it's unsettles the car completely, and you can't get the power down. It hurts you all the way down this straight. Now down into second gear, and that's not going to be a fast lap there for William Levesque, not getting the car slowed down for that corner. He's done it several times actually here. Maybe he's getting a little bit antsy at Danny Asbury being faster than him so far. Danny Asbury gunning for that pole position. They did miss narrowly out on getting at Yas Marina 1/100th of a second around almost a 2-minute track at Yas Marina. It was pretty incredible. Danny Asbury not able to get that, but he's gunning for it here today. Eric Strani seems like he's come back to form after a couple of indifferent races from Eric. He's dropped that down the field a little bit, but he looks like he's back on form here. Third fastest so far. Hasn't improved that time in quite a while though. Has been in the server pretty much since the start, and that time was set quite a long time ago. New skin, as you can see. Optimal Motorsport skin still, but a new colour scheme on that car. Let's run you through some of the other new paint schemes if we can. Let's just run towards the back of the grid. I believe we have a couple. Rob Musgrove is one of the drivers who has joined us from Division 2 for the first time this season. Rob has completed 5 races this year, missed the first couple, but has fought hard to get back into Division 1, and a best place of 5th at Yas Marina in Division 2, and here he is in Division 1 reaping the rewards of that hard work, so we wish him luck here today. And Ivan Navarro also in Division 1 once more. Carlos Ortiz, Colombian, not Spanish. I apologise for describing him as Spanish and putting his flag on the spotter guide as Spanish. He is Colombian. Nicky Dufresne, Andy Johnson, he's got a slightly different livery. Trying to find... who is it that had a different livery I wanted to find? There we are. Kevin Enderman. Kevin Enderman has a different livery here today, designed by Andy Johns, and as you can see, it is an Oran Park tribute livery. Oran Park is Kevin Enderman's favourite track. Of course, it no longer exists, so he's obviously very gutted about that. And of course, it has all the winners of the... oh, zoom in. Of Can we actually see that? We actually can't quite see that at the angle we're at. Let's try and zoom out there. There we go. Mark Scaife and Alan Moffat, Peter Brock, Bob Morris, Jim Richards, you can see, Dick Johnson, Craig Lowndes, Marcus Ambrose, really roll of honour there. People have won at this track over the years. And of course he has the track map there you can see on the side of the car also. So great artwork there from Andy Johns, making that for Kevin Enderman. As we go back through the field. Now one person I wanted to talk about just quickly here today was Hugo Gomez. We've not talked about him very much so far this season. He has been Division 1 for several races now, after winning the race at Hidden Valley in Division 2. Not too much has been said about him, but he got a great 10th place at Simmons Plain. So he's been pushing his more illustrious teammate Marco Felix pretty hard in the races, if not in qualifying. Excuse me, and the Portuguese driver has certainly been doing very well here today. And I said it was Portugal versus Portugal, Marco Felix versus Bruno Sousa Ferreira in the Simmons Plain, but actually it's not Portugal versus Spain versus Portugal. In fact, it was Portugal versus Portugal. In the highlights, I said that for some reason. Not quite sure why. I do know Marco Felix is Portuguese, and I apologise to Marco for calling him Spanish. I'm sure he didn't want to like to be called that. It's like calling me French. So, coming now towards the qualifying session here. 1 minute to go, and it is William Levesque who is second place at the moment, but he's gone faster in that first sector by an entire tenth, and the first sector of course is quite short. First sector is just the first 2 corners, pretty much down towards turn 3. Just before turn 3 braking zone is where the sector 2 split is. Now William Levesque's going towards his sector 3 split. Here we are. There it is. And he's up once again, 1.158, so he's matched Danny Asbury in that second sector, down towards the final corner. Look, very clean through there, running a bit wide. Oh, it's gone far too wide there. You have to get a good exit from this corner and get away with it. Don't think it's going to work though. You see the pit exit there. Oh, it did work. He lost some time, he lost that tenth of a second, but managed just to sneak ahead of Danny Asbury in the final few seconds of this qualifying session. But of course it's in qualifying where it counts, and Jesper Torborg's put in a qualifying lap here also. Just before we go into qualifying, let me just tell you about an event we have coming up once again in the TouringProSeries. It's the second round of the World Supertech, second season should I say, of the World Supertech Series. Round 4 from Santa Cruz do Sul, a very twisty circuit, plenty of camber, plenty of changes of direction. It would be great to see that there. Using Game Stock Car of course, you can watch that 24th of August as you can see, 21:20 GMT, TouringProSeries.com. I'll be racing in that, so you can watch me make a fool of myself once again, and also Toby Davis and Liam Jenkins will be calling the shots for us there. So looking forward to that on Friday night. Make sure you tune in to that. We're about to go into qualifying here though, and we'll be right back after this. Oh, that was a very quick advert there from GamePod. Let's see if I can actually get that fixed. Not quite sure why it's playing so fast. There we go. I apologise for that. GamePod gets 3 adverts in one. There you see, 2 quick adverts and a long advert.
Serious about sim racing. Puts you in the driver's seat with all the controls at your fingertips. Be #1 on the road, in the race, in the game. GamePod, the choice of champions.
Apologies for that, not quite sure what happened with the media there, but fixed very easily of course. But going into qualifying now, my tip for this qualifying, of course, I'm going to stick my neck out and say Danny Asbury here actually. Danny Asbury is going to be the one to beat in this qualifying here, so let's see if he can do so. Here is Danny, let's go on board with him as he starts his first flying lap here. He is down into the final turn. He goes a very tight line through here. Mr. C has just told me that he reckons Kevin Brent will get pole position once again for the second race. And of course, you can join everybody in the chat, TouringProSeries.com/chat, and you can speak along with all the other and converse with all the other spectators in there. Danny Asbury out of shakedown into turn 1, just not managed to get the car stopped. Looking for a banker lap here it seems, because he's gone out of shakedown at turn 3 also. Not sure why people get out of shape so much at turn 3. I find it one of the easier corners on the track actually, and he's also missed the apex at turn 4 as well, so this is going to be a bank lap here for Danny Asbury, and hopefully go on the second lap. Hopefully his tyres will stay in. Of course he's missed the apex there also, so he's not looking good at all for Danny Asbury on this particular lap. Yes, Torborg's out there, so is William Levesque. Levesque's not on a flying lap at the moment. There is Ross McGregor just getting out of shape, or just getting out of the way. I think he's just doing a bit of both at the same time. Then have to come through the flip-flop here. Very out of shape through there. Managed to get the car just about to turn back in the other direction. Great shot through that flip-flop. You can see the difference in the side sponsorship of Andy Johns and Danny Asbury's car. And a 4.9 Danny Asbury this time around, so we can see that obviously wasn't the greatest lap time there. As Gary Lennon goes to 4.968. This is one of Gary Lennon's favourite tracks. We actually have a pond on the inside of the Oran Park track, and it's actually christened as Leno's Pond, and this is because years and years ago when he was racing Porsche, I think it was racing Porsche Carrera Cup cars, he was driving, spun off the track and went towards the pond, thought he could just drive over the pond, thinking it was just a fake pond, and actually drove into it and found it had actually some physical properties of a pond and couldn't get back out again. So hopefully Leno doesn't do that here today. Of course, Gary Leno is affectionately known as Leno to all of the drivers around here. He's the second most experienced TPS driver of all time. So he's got first and second at the moment here. His two most experienced drivers of all time in the Touring Pro Series. Lennon following Francisco VR here. VR, hopefully he doesn't have a problem like he had at Simmons Plains, and then is not quite close to improving. Might be improving if he matches Jesper Torborg through here, improving on his own time. Danny Asbury goes to pole now with a 1:4.498, so that's a decent marker there from Danny Asbury. Gary not able to improve on his lap. William Levesque is still in the pits. He's also doing a bank lap at the moment. It's Eric Strani, who is pink at the moment. We'll follow with him. Fourth quickest in the pre-practice. Marco Felix does a 4.991, so plenty of people going under the fives at the moment. And Eric, very out of shape there. Will he get the car slowed down for the final corner? He does just about. He can get away with running on the grass a little bit through there. Just pushing a little bit too hard, and Strani now comes towards the line, and it's a 4.585. Without that mistake, you would have perhaps thought that he might just about have usurped Danny Asbury from that first position. But Eric Strani, provisional front row at the moment, but I have a feeling he's going to have to go faster than that to confirm that. Kevin Brents goes 13th at the moment. What can he do this time around? Kevin Brents is, he's coming back out of the pits now, so we'll follow along with somebody else. There is Eric to right. He's not on a hot lap at the moment. David Jones is on a hot lap. He's 3/10 down in that first sector. Find somebody. Here is Bruno Salsafero. He's 7/10 down in that sector. If he holds that, no, it's going straight off the track there at the flip-flop, which you can see, it's very easy to do. Ferrero to the line, 5.4.444, does not improve. It was 4.56, not improved his 4.44, so I say. And here is Adrian Hull now, riding on board on the bumper of Adrian Hull, down into turn 1. Gets well out of shape, and straight off the gravel goes Adrian Hull, not improving this time around. Of course, finished second at Simmons Plains. It's a great result for him there. He'll be hoping he can challenge the top 5 once again. Here was Francisco VR now, he's not on a hot lap. Marco Felix here, let's stay with Marco Felix on the front bumper of Marco Felix, down towards turn 1. Get it stopped for turn 2, just about. Try and get the power down on here, try not to run onto the grass on the outside of that curve. Lennon found that to be a difficult area last year. Dave Love pops 10th. Hoping to do a bit better than that. Down through the S's here. Marco Felix through this 90-degree left-hander. It's run too wide. If you do, don't put any steering lock in at all. Just make it sure it goes straight. Felix pushing very hard through here. He's only 3/10 down on Danny Asbury. Pushing a bit too hard in the end there. His car is not slowed down. He's going to lose at least 3/10 of a second there. It's going to be a great lap there from Marco. It's going to be a 4.8, I would presume, but it's actually a 5.0 as a result. 4.8 would have moved in one position. Kevin Prentice is going faster than the pole sitter Danny Asbury in that first sector at the moment. Let's watch him in the Coca-Cola car. The American, he's run far too wide over the top of the bridge. And that's the end of that lap for him. He'll try again on the next lap around, I'm sure. 30 minutes to go in this qualifying, so plenty of time for people to move forward. And I see this getting tighter and tighter as we get towards the climax of this session. And as we're still in the pits, not coming out at the moment. Strani's out of track though. Here we are. Can he improve? Makes his way over the bridge. Apologies, I'm not able to commentate on this quite as full as I want to right now. My internet's going a bit of a fail at the moment, and not able to see too many pictures. I can see William the Vec is going faster at the moment, though. It would be nice if I could just... There we are, go back to him. Fortunately, the moment it's taken 5 seconds for me to change, so hopefully my internet sorts itself out in a couple of minutes' time as they continue to go around the track. The Vec is obviously not doing well on that lap at all. Kevin Brents is in 7th at the moment. And now here we are back with the action here. Kevin Brents on a hot lap at the moment, squeezed the power on through there as much as he can. See how difficult it is going up that hill. Now down towards the second sector split. What has he got? Through the final corner. And Kevin Brent, I don't know if it's improved or not because my internet is completely failing at the moment. I apologise for that. Kevin Brent has not improved. He's down in 7th place at the moment. Alright, see, my internet has now decided to work once again, so hopefully I can now commentate pause-free, hesitation-free of course. And now William the Vec is purple in the first sector. What has he got in this second sector? Oh, pushing very, very hard through there. Not quite sure that's going to be the answer through there, William. And of course, Danny aborts a lap as a result. He's still 2 tenths down on Danny Asbury, so people find it difficult to get a lap in here. VR goes 4th. Great lap there from VR, just under 2 tenths of a second behind Danny Asbury. Still in 4th place, so Jesper Tolberg in 5th also. You can argue Jesper's been a little bit off colour in the last couple of races, but I'm sure he doesn't agree with that. Some of the planes, it certainly was not on the form that you expect from a championship leader, but of course, throughout a 10 race season, you are allowed a couple of races where you're not quite on the pace. Kevin Enderman's going fastest in the first sector there. Peter Dabelar moves it back up into 10th position. Needs to find around about half a second to be able to on the pace of the front runners. Disco VR here in 5th. Carolyn still in 6th. Not going to improve on this lap, unfortunately. Enderman goes into 14th with that lap. Somebody's crashed very heavily there down at the flip-flop. You see a big plume of smoke. I couldn't see any cars going through it as a result on here. Kevin Brent now, has he got anything for this final corner? Here he comes, and he does improve. So the top 6 are now covered by less than 2 tenths of a second, and somehow nobody's managed to get to be really very close to Danny Asbury at all. I mean, Strani's within 1/10 of a second, of course, but within 1/10 is nothing these days. VR is 1,000 up. Brent is 2/10 down, so he's going to have to do a very quick lap around the rest of the circuit here to catch up with a great turn 3 there for Kevin Brent, right around the apex of the corner. Here is VR now up over the top of the bridge. There he goes. Running now down towards the S's. Again, still going downhill. A little bit understeer there through the turn 8 left-hander. 10th and a half down of Danny Asbury. We can just do a good final sector here. He might be able to move up the leaderboard. Looks a bit slow through that final corner. Car stopped a little bit. The momentum wasn't quite there, and it's not quite quick enough for pole. But he has improved. He's gone ahead of his sister teammate Jesper Torborg in THR Orange. Of course, VR is racing for THR Green. Eric Tveit goes into 10th ahead of Peter Davilas. We've got two very separate groups here. We've got the 1st to 6th group, and then we've got the 7th to arguably 13th group. Stars of Simmons Plains, Peter Davilas and Adrian Holm, not quite able to be on the pace here today, it seems. So again, the competitiveness of the Virtual V8 Supercars Championship shows you just cannot rest on your laurels. You always have to keep moving forward, and if you don't keep moving forward, you just get left behind. William Levesque is 600ths of a second up, and Danny Asbury in that first sector. That's a great first sector. Oh, bit of a cut there from William Levesque, and he abandons the run as a result, realising it would not be eligible for a fast lap time. He's got 6 minutes though to produce a good lap time here. He knows he can produce it, but can he produce it? That's the problem. Eric Strani here. We'll come down towards the sector 2 split very soon as well. The young Swede. And he's only half a tenth down. He's only half a tenth down. And of course, he messed up this final sector on his previous hot lap that we saw. Oh, he's gone very, very deep in that final corner, but he's running wide. Oh, he's got lots of oversteer on that car as well. It's not going to be quicker. It's not going to be quicker. Oh, just that final braking zone. Kevin Brent is now going faster. So we've got these top 6 drivers here at the moment. We're focusing on these. There is the rest of the field for you there. One driver's just dropped out of... That's Francisco Villar has just dropped out of qualifying. Hopefully he can rejoin back in the game once again. Brent makes his way around towards sector 2. Oh, he gets well out of shape there, and that's cost him his 1/4 of a second down, and he needs a superb final corner here to do anything about moving up the field, never mind pole position. And here he comes, a 5.85. Oh, if he hadn't made that mistake at turn 8, that would have been a superb lap time there for Kevin Brent, but he's second as it is at the moment. It's less than a 1,000th of a second faster than Eric Strani. That really is incredible. And now I'm back here in the action here. Apologise for my absence during that. Just having a bit of a coughing fit while I managed to get my coughing sorted out. And we saw Eric Strani there had a great lap time going. Of course, Levesque had a fantastic final sector, of course, because he was not purple in any sectors before that. Eric Strani just messed up that final corner once again in that final corner. That's 2 laps in a row he's done that when he's been on a great lap. And if Eric could just sort that out, he could be on pole position here. That'll be his first pole in his TPS career. And I think Eric Strani is in for a good chance here. Just need to keep it nice and calm. Do the same thing he did a lap ago. Just nice and smooth into the final corner instead. And that will sort it out. But Levesque is on pole at the moment by 3,000ths of a second. What has Danny Asbury got to answer with to that? That's not going to be pole position right there. Danny Asbury got completely out of shape through there. What has Kevin Brent's got against William Levesque? Not purple in any sectors, and I feel you're going to have to purple in both sectors to beat William Levesque, because that final sector time from Levesque must have been an absolute stonker of a lap time, of a sector. Eric Strani now is going to come towards his final hot lap. Francisco VR is on one of his final hot laps here. There's 1 minute 40 to go. Jesper Torborg still striving. He's still in that sixth position. Peter Davilar still back in 11th. Eric Savite has moved up into 8th. Right behind his ice-cold teammates in the Clios, Gary Lennon. Jesper Torborg, what has he got? He has to improve here, surely. 6th place. And that's going to continue to put pressure on himself and that championship lead. Can't rely on Kevin Brent to go off into the gravel once again like he did at Simmons Plains. Jesper has to improve. It's a 10th and a half down. It's a 10th and a half down. But of course, he's only 2 tenths off overall. What has he got towards the final corner? No, he's not improved again, Jesper. Jesper is not able to improve his qualifying form here at the moment. Of course, he will back himself to do well in the races, but if he can just produce a good lap time here, he doesn't have to go through that awful rigmarole and put the pressure on himself of having to produce a great race. Just qualify a bit further up, you don't have to pass so many people and have a nice calm race. Of course, it'll make it a bit more stressful for him. Well, if the Iceman does get stressed, that is. Enderman goes into 10th also, pushes Davilar down into 12th. Very close there, around that 10th position as well. 991 for Felix, 007 for Enderman. This is James Bond around here, obviously. Ross McGregor there in 11th, and Peter Davilar in 12th. Adrian Holm now in 12th, so that's even closer there. We've got 9th to 13th covered by, that's less than 400ths of a second. So those guys can even easily move around in these final few seconds of qualifying. 8 seconds to go in qualifying. Will Jesper get another run in? I don't think he will. He's going to come towards the line. There is time has ticked out. Jesper will not do any better than 6th. Jesper will not do any better than 6th. VR, what has he got? He's half a second down. He's not going to improve at all. Eric Strani down on track. Brent is down on track. So is Danny Asbury. He's a 10th and a half down in that first sector. He needs to be level with them. Oh, Levesque has improved. Levesque has improved. So that's a different lap time. The goalposts have moved. So the goalposts have moved. Maybe Levesque did a great lap time in that first sector. Didn't see any purple sectors though once again. So Levesque on pole by 600ths of a second. We're going to see Levesque inch out Danny Asbury once again in the pole position fight. It happened at Asbury. Oh, it's going to happen again because Danny Asbury's off. That's Danny Asbury's challenge over. Felix has gone ahead of McGregor, who just gone ahead of Felix. So very close there, as I said, in that 9th and 10th position. Levesque is on pole at the moment. Kevin Brent is back in the pits. Eric Strani is back in the pits. VR, Torborg won't finish this lap, I don't think. I'm pretty sure the time ticks over before the end of the session. Before he managed to start his lap, I should say. Maybe he got a slight opportunity, and he goes 5th. He does go 5th. The time, he must have had 100ths of a second left as he crossed that line. It really was very tight indeed. And that does make his life a little bit easier because, of course, again, he's on the inside of the track. That's the better side to be on into the first corner also. He has nightmares on this track last year. He got pole position and span at the first corner and fought his way back through to 3rd. But it's Levesque who's on pole. Levesque is on pole. The French-Canadian producing the goods. And here we are now in the warm-up session. Apologies for my cold I've got here today. I'm also on my own here today, so I've been abandoned completely. Please bear with me, have sympathy for me. But it's William Levesque for THR Red on pole position. Danny Asbury is driving as an independent driver, but is driving for 151 Motorsport in the future. He's in second. Kevin Brent's there in third. Eric Strani in fourth. Jesper Torborg there in fifth. Francisco VR in sixth. Gary Lennon in seventh. Eric Tveit there in eighth. Marco Felix there in ninth. 10th place, Ross McGregor. So we've got THR, an independent, got Optima Motorsport there up in 4th place. Bradley Van Ien will be very pleased with that indeed. THR in 5th, THR in 6th. TPS Racing in 7th, I'm very pleased with that myself. 8th place is NFS Scandinavia. 9th is Opium Racing. 10th is Black Visor Motorsport. And here is the rest of the top 20. Kevin Enderman there in 11th place. Adrian Hulme in 12th, Peter Davila in 13th, 14th is David Jones, 15th is Bruno Salsa Ferreira, 16th is Hugo Gomez, 17th James Johnson, 18th Nicky DeFray, 19th place is Auckland, and 20th place is Andy Johns. That's Team Down Under, who drives alongside Ike Rodi, who's not here today. In fact, actually, it's unusual for Ike not to be here. 12th place is Nijo Racing, and 12th and 14th, so Nijo Racing back down the order where they have been most of the season, whereas they were much further up earlier at Simmons Plains, so that's disappointing for them. THR Precision Motorsports, they're in 13th and 17th, not very good at all, and quite a big gap between 15th and 16th, as you can see. In fact, there's quite a big gap from 14th to the rest of the field. Bruno Salsafrey almost on his own at 0.3, Johnson at 0.7, and Nicky Frey and Jonathan Auckland. I'm sure Nobody Davis won't be happy with James Johnson's performance. They're back in 17th, way off getting anywhere near even the top 40. Open Motorsports there in 16th, 18th is LSD Racing, 19th, that's not ISD Racing by the way guys, that's LSD Racing, 19th place is Optimum Motorsport in Auckland, who's really put on a great turn of form since the Simmons played event. 20th place is Andy Johns, 21st Carlos Ortiz, 22nd is Ivan Navarro, 23rd Lee Palmer, and newbie Rob Musgrove rounding out the 24th. Of course, Rob is a stalwart of the TPS, taking part in both the Clio Championship and the V8 Championship. So it's good to see his hard work rewarded here today. Let's go on board with a couple of drivers. Let's go on board with this battle here actually. Let's follow through with these drivers. It's William Levesque. Let's go and look at one of his... go back to his patrol back. Let's look back over the Game Pod wing. Of course, GamePod sponsor this series. GamePod.co.uk, longest running manufacturer of racing rigs in the world. It's fantastic to have them sponsor us here today. They're also sponsoring the Virtual Clio Championship Season 3. It starts on the 5th of September. You can watch all those broadcasts live also. They'll start from on the around about 8 o'clock at night, and just we're going to come here and do a practice start. Going towards his position on the grid. Of course, Levesque cheekily says, oh look, I'm further up the grid than you, I'm going to do my practice start from here. And Levesque is on pole position, which is important for him of course in the championship. He'll be hoping that some other drivers manage to get involved with Jesper Torborg and push him further down the field. Or he may even sneakily, cheekily be hoping that Jesper Torborg has a couple of problems. Of course, I'm sure the spectators were almost hoping that the same happens actually, because of course we need a couple of problems to happen to Jesper Torborg for this to be an exciting championship, not wishing any ill on anybody of course. From a neutral point of view, I'm sure that's what we want to see. Of course, we go to Bathurst and anything can happen there. Bathurst with co-drivers of course. Levesque is teaming up with Alexander Sene in that particular race. Jesper Torborg is going to team up, I believe the rumours are, either Jack Keithley or Vincent Stahl for that race. So the silly season before that is beginning to hot up. Drivers need to get themselves sorted for that. 22nd of September, same time, you can tune in and watch that Bathurst 500. Promises to be an epic event. We'll just run you through the rules for the co-drivers there. Co-drivers cannot have contested more than 2 previous races. That's great slowing down there from Marco. Beautifully gained Willie Levesque actually. Co-drivers cannot have completed more than 2 races in the season, 2012 season. If they have completed more than 2 races, they are ineligible to be co-drivers for the main drivers in the event. That's how that works. So drivers have to almost take the gamble of teaming up with people who don't normally race in these series. Of course, plenty of drivers are making sure they get a couple of races in, so they've got plenty of practice ahead of that. Drivers are doing mainly these 3 rounds here. 2 of these 3 rounds, Simmons Plains, Oran Park, and Sydney. Of course, we go to Sydney next. That's in 2 weeks' time. Sydney Olympic Motorsport Park, and can't wait for that one. That was a great race last year. Strauss taking the win, but not before Tolborg and then Holm both threw it away. So looking forward to that. Here, let's go on board with Eric Tveit. Always an entertaining driver to go on board with. And I'm just going quiet here as you enjoy the sound of this Virtual V8 Supercar Ford Falcon. There is a lap of the Oran Park circuit, and Eric Tveit doing his normal thing and crashing into the barriers, trying to do a decent lap time here in the warm-up. There's been plenty of speculation about the best pit strategy here today. Some drivers debating whether 1-stop or 2-stop is better. Some of the people have been debating because the track is so hard on its tyres here, of course, because you're always turning. There's only that short straight, of course, on the front track where you're not turning, and there's plenty of fast corners as well, so there's plenty of load in the tyres. And drivers are debating whether 1- or 2-stop strategy is better. 1-stop was better in the 2011 season, marginally, but the tyres do wear more than in the 2011 season. So I mean, it's going to be nip and tuck here today, I think. I know Danny Asbury is going for a 2-stop strategy. And he's deciding, because he's obviously had problems with wearing his tyres earlier this year anyway, so he's decided just to almost sod it and go for the 2-stop strategy and try and make that one work. Because the pit lane is slow and it is pretty long, as you can see. Eric Tveit not even at the pit stalls yet. Just 40 k's through here, remember. Easy to get pinged for speeding as well, and of course it's easy to get caught up in traffic. And Davila showing he's got plenty of pace in the race. A 5.1 is pretty similar to what Jesper Tolber was doing in the race pace. So of course Davila left himself plenty of work to do from that 13th on the grid. But now I'm going to have to predict a winner for this race, aren't I? I think I'm going to have to stick with William Levesque. I'm afraid he's got that pole position now, and I think that's going to set him up to take that win here. So I'm going to go for a 3rd win in a row for William Levesque. And now here we are at the start of the race. Track temperature 26 degrees, you can see, so it's a fairly mild track temperature at the moment. Often it goes up throughout the race. waiting for the formation lap here, of course. There is William Levesque on that pole position. There's Danny Asbury alongside him. Still difficult for me to get used to that new Danny Asbury livery, never mind the viewers as well. Drivers are just appearing on the track and away from the track. There you go. And hopefully, if I've timed this correctly, we'll see the field come down. There we go, the field coming down the main straight here. There you can see them all setting off on their formation lap. And in around about 2 minutes' time, we'll be ready and raring to go here. These 650 brake horsepower cars will be roaring down towards that final turn. Here is the pole sitter, the man of the moment, Virtual Clio Series champion, winner of the last 2 races at Simmons Plains and Oran Park. Not utterly dominant, but could argue comfortable in both races. Winning by several seconds, and winning by several seconds is a huge margin nowadays in the Virtual V8 Supercars. As you can see, everybody very, very close indeed. That top 6, I think we're fighting for the battle here. It was the top 7 or 8 who were fighting for the win before Adam Egby, James Johnson and Gary Lennon decided to mess it up all between them, and it ended up just being Tobias Schlemer almost, because Crooks and Strauss got together, and Torborg, of course, Span, Johnson also went off the track, so obviously involved in an accident, and it was in the end just Slamo just cruised to the win. 2010, it was Ben Crooks who went and took the win here after Gregory de Grief crashed at the final corner. At the first corner, should I say, went straight off the first corner, even worse than Kevin Brents did. I'm sure Danny Asbury could be a bit further up the track there. He just creep forward and make sure it's in his pit box, taking advantage of all the space he's got. Eric Tveit there managing not to get in his pit box there. We're going to go down the field. Here we go. So give us a good shot of the field as they come down towards the first corner. What is going on there? Why has it done that to me? Hopefully they're not set off on their race. There we go. And the field about to get go. And away from the field they go. Away from the grid they go. And it's a great start from Willie Levesque. He heads down towards turn 1. It's Eric Stride got a great start also as well. And Danny Asbury not able to get a good start here. There is Willie Levesque. Danny Asbury down into third place. Eric Stride up into second. Torborg's moved up through the field also. VR has moved ahead of Kevin Brents. So Kevin Brents had a poor start once again. But Levesque leads. Levesque is leading. As the field now heads up the hill. There we are. And Kevin Brent's going wide once again. It looks like Tobias is going to go through, and Kevin Brent's also, he has done. So Kevin Brent's come back to 7th place on this start. Not good for him at all. And there is Levesque. He's still leading. Got Strani right behind him. So the 2 youngsters at the front of the field, battling for the future of TPS, as they were saying at Hidden Valley. But it's Levesque who's gone on to improve, as Strani who's dropped back, but now Strani fancies taking the fight here to the French-Canadian. Danny Asbury there is in 3rd position. Danny Asbury needs to get out ahead. Other people are 1 stopping, and he's 2 stopping. He needs to get out ahead. This is not going to work at all. The field crosses the line now. We see the winners and losers from that first lap. Strani up 2, VR up 2. Jesper Torborg has lost that position to VR once again. Kevin Brent's down at 3, I think it says there. I can't quite see on my screen. 8th is Marco Felix. He's gone up at a position. It always does well on the starts, actually, Marco Felix. Every time we come to a track, he does well. Ross McGregor up 1 position. Gary Lennon down 1 position. Enderman down 3, so he's not had a good start at his favourite track. But Levesque still leads. Close behind him is the Ford Falcon, Optima Motorsport Ford Falcon of Eric Strani. Back in the field, Andy Johns is bringing up the rear at the moment, so he's not a good start to the race. He's dropped back those 4 positions. Looking back now from the leader, only gained 1 wing. Strani right in behind. And Asbury there in 3rd still, putting the pressure on. It's quite difficult to pass this track though. Plenty of fast corners and quite narrow, and people are running round for that wall there. That's great driving there from the drivers, using all the track, but no more. Really was very good indeed. Torborg is having to fend off Eric Tveit at the moment. Looking back here we are. Torborg having to fend off Eric Tavai. It's not really good start to the race for Torborg. He's fighting, gaining one, and losing one position. They'll kind of be status quo in the end. He's gone backwards since that point. VR is right ahead of him. He's got a bit of a gap now to Asbury though, that unfortunately. There is Kevin Brent in behind. He'll just be making sure his tyres are underneath him. You just say he marks 2 or 3 drivers down. His drivers just want to be around because they're quite erratic, and I think Eric Tavai might be one of those drivers. So Kevin Brent's finding himself in the same position as he found himself at Simmons playing Andreas Loeffler. It's a great shot here at the undulating track here. It really is a fantastic track. And it's a real shame it's no longer in use in real life. Drivers using all of the track that they can. Tavai looking for a good exit here to try and get his slipstream down straight here. Will he get it? No, it's like he's not quite going to venture out the corner to get it early. He's got it late to be able to get him into a position to make it strike on Jesper Torborg. DR there is in 4th. Here he is. This is Danny Asbury. You can see that big gap there. Danny Asbury is in a big gap. Ronnie still in 2nd. Looking back at Danny Asbury. And it seems like the vet made a mistake down at turn 3 because the gap was 0.7. It's certainly not 0.7 now. In fact, Stradi's right behind the French Canadian. Any slight mistake at all from William Levesque, and it will be a catastrophe. We'll go back way down the field. Of course, a small mistake would see him sent back towards 10th position at least, I would say. Stradi there in 2nd. Coming out the final corner, great shot there as cars wiggle under power. VR's gaining on the leader. There we are. So now I was saying VR gaining on the leader. He takes the fastest lap of the race so far. 5.255. Not a good start to the race for Peter Tableye, still back in 13th. It's for Torborg, 2.5 seconds behind the race leader. That's the fight for the championship, remember. 1st versus 5th. And Levesque very quick through that section there. Torborg lost a bit of ground. Tavai right in behind. Brent is still fending off Felix. Brent's not really pressuring though. Eric Tavai at the moment, as you can see. In fact, Tavai is pressuring Jesper Torborg. He's up the inside, up the hill, and he's doing what he did in the opening lap against Kevin Brent, and Tavai is through. Tavai, number 833, is through into 5th position ahead of Jesper Torborg, the most decorated driver in TBS history. Right now, New Norwegian goes through into 5th. Jesper Torborg will put the pressure back on him once again. This is helping, of course, Kevin Brent's gain on this group here, because these two are battling. Now Tavai has to work hard to get onto the back of Francisco VR, who's gaining on Danny Asbury. Danny Asbury's dropped back from Eric Strani somewhat. The gap is now 0.9 of a second between Strani and Asbury. Strani is sticking right with William Levesque. Francisco VR is pushing Danny Asbury along as well. Go under the bridge. Bite. There he is. It's a great pass from him. He'll be very pleased with that indeed. He's had some good pace so far this season. Not really put them into great results, but he managed to calm down quite a bit for the race at Simmons Plains. It took him a very good result indeed. So maybe he's learning from that now here. And being nice and calm doesn't always pay to be spectacular, of course. It's great to be spectacular in the short term, but in the long term, it does not pay off at all. Back of the field, Ortiz and Musgrove and South Ferrari seem to be in trouble at the moment. Ortiz is way back, 24th position. Plenty of smoke and grass through there. From the case here, all the way through qualifying. Danny Asbury fastest lap of the race, so he needed to get a move on, of course, because he dropped a bit of pace to the guys ahead, and he's got a bit of a move on, and now he's right in behind Eric Strani, as you can see, 4 tenths behind him. Strani's just dropped back off Levesque, a couple of tenths that time around, but it's nothing to be concerned unduly about. Francisco VR is dropping way back from the leader at the moment. He was gaining on the leader a few laps ago, but now he's dropped back to 2.8 seconds behind, and Tavai is eating up the ground over him. Not something you want to see in your mirror, because you know he'll fight for every position. He won't just stay behind you. He wants to be ahead. He doesn't like being behind somebody. He wants to be leading. And he's pushing very hard indeed. Felix might be going for a 2-stop strategy here. That's kind of just about set up for the next corner, and it's a great corner as well. And this is going to set up, I think, Eric to bite for a run at Francesco Villa. Villa's struggling struggling a lot on this particular lap, 3.1 seconds behind now. 6 tenths of a second he's lost in his first 2 sectors. Tavite is right in behind Francesco Villa. V8 has sorted himself out before Tavite goes through. He's lost 7 tenths of a second on that lap. Francesco Villa. And Asprey has lost ground to Strani once again, and Levesque has pulled away 105.208 for Levesque. That's a great lap time for him. Tavite just about got the car slowed down for that corner there. Torvalds right in behind. Brent is right in behind also. Felix is looking for a way down the inside. Here goes Felix down the inside. And no, yes, it is. Felix down the inside, and Brent has been shuffled back once again. Up the hill. This is the second time in the race. Deja vu for Kevin Brent. He fought with, of course, Felix earlier in the season at Hidden Valley. It was a great battle between those two earlier in the race. McGregor right in behind this battle as well, and his good friend Gary Lennon running out top 10, so the top 10 very close indeed to the leader still. Brent has dropped down the field. He's qualified in 4th. He's now back to 8th. And Eric Tavite is the big winner at the moment. Qualified in 8th, he's up to 5th. And Danny Asprey, fastest lap of the race once again. 105.0 once again, beating that lap record time by 17 hundredths of a second. As it comes down towards the first set of corners once again. And Torborg's trying to make a move on Eric Tavite. Tavite is defending. Torborg's lets him go. Torborg doesn't want to fight too hard. There's no point fighting really hard for a position when you know you can't get past someone on the inside like that, because you just end up slowing each other up and you can't make any forward progress through the field. But Villa is struggling very much in these first few laps. Maybe he just pushed his tyres too hard early on and they've overheated, because he's way back now. He's dropped almost 4 seconds behind the leader. He was only 2 seconds behind. Just seems like a matter of laps go. We're on lap 9 now. Lap 9 of 58. And we've got a long way to go in this race. Torborg tracking the back of that NFS Scandinavia car, and Tavite pulls away on the exit. He's driving very well indeed here at the moment. Of course, with Tavite is often an at the moment caveat onto the back of statements about him. Because at some point you would bet that he would make a mistake. We saw a bit of bodywork there on the right hand side. Looked red and black to me. Maybe it was Andy Johns. Because Ferrer's been into the pits, so obviously he's been in difficulty somewhere. He's going to force himself under a 2-stop strategy, of course, now. Back in the field. Oh, Teeth is 2 laps down also. Ivan Navarro a lap down. It might only be Ivan Navarro's not lap down, just unable to get to the next sector point before the other people. So Navarro made a mistake. Also, maybe his bumper's on the inside there. His bumper is, I think, is black. Go back and check those drivers. Here is Ortiz. He's 24th, and he's a lap down, or 2 laps down, I believe. Ferreira there, he is. He's had difficulties. Navarro. Navarro's bumper is not that colour. Rob Musgrove. Jonathan Ockerclint. And John's still got his bumper, not been into the pit, so it must be Ortiz' bumper, I presume, down there, unless someone just knocked over one of the marker boards. Hugo Gomez there at 18th, 17th is Lee Palmer. Something's happened in that midfield because lots of people are very, very far apart. Enderman's there in 16th, 15th Nicky Defray, and then the rest of the field from 14th, which is fairly close. Excuse me, Jeff Johnson in 14th, Peter Develar in 13th. He's tracking David Yunt, who's tracking his teammate Adrian Hull, and then Lennon McGregor just ahead of those drivers. So he's pretty close here at the front of the field at the moment on lap 11. Kevin Brent still in that 8th position, still not able to make any moves forward. Obviously, if he's looking after his tyres, if he's on a 1-stop strategy, he could see himself move forward pretty well. But VR is now some 5 seconds off the lead. It's really holding up the drivers behind him, I feel. VR is not performing at all here at the moment. He's lost 3 seconds over the last 7 laps or so. On to lap 12 VR. Asbury right in behind Strani still. And the fact Asbury thinks going on to a 2-stop strategy, still have to look after those tyres a little bit. Strani in 2nd. fighting at the front of the field. He'll be very, very pleased with this. It's the first time he's actually fought at the front of the field this season. So he's had some great results. Really fantastic results. Really surprised a lot of people. But this is the first time he's actually been fighting for a win, and win with a real chance. Maybe you heard me because he went wide there at the S's. See the rest of the field. I love that shot there because you actually see the rest of the track as people drive around. You actually see people down at turn 3. It's a superb shot. And now let's see the rest of the field as they come through. I'm going to mark the field for you as they come through. There's Ortiz in the pits once again. There's Levesque leading. There is Strani. There's Asbury coming through now. There is VR, got Tveit right in behind him, and Torborg, and Felix, Bentz, McGregor, Lennon. Here comes Holm, Yuns, and Peter Dable, and there is James Johnson. Tveit unable to get past Francisco VR, despite being very close in behind him. Here's Tveit's favourite opportunity. Down towards turn 4. No. This time around he doesn't quite get the traction. Passed a couple of times through there. Car's obviously quick through that section. Car's obviously good in low traction areas because that's where he's getting great purchase. In low traction areas, should I say? Should I just say traction areas? Low speed corners, should I say? Because he's getting great traction out the corners. And VR is all over the place. VR is not driving well at all here, not like we're expecting to see. He's not able to grab that elusive podium so far this season. And he's out of shape there. Onto the grass. Now can Tveit this time around get the opportunity? So easy to put the power on too much to just slide the car, and the gap looks too much. They're not going to get enough slipstream. As you see, it's so difficult. You have to be properly alongside as well because you just cannot pass into this corner here. Oh, Tveit just about got the car into that corner there. Great driving there from Eric Tveit, and he's got out of shape now. The exit though, just to calm himself and get back in the rhythm once again. Through turn 3. To turn 4, big bump there, squeeze the power up the hill as much as you dare without spinning those tyres and without spinning out of course. The apex there, great apex there for Tveit. We're now 5.8 seconds back from this group to the leader. 2.3 now is the gap from Levesque to Asbury. Unless Levesque is also in a 2-stroke strategy, I don't think Asbury's going to be able to take the win here today. Francisco VR running very wide indeed. Eric Tveit right in behind. Can't quite get the perch out of the final corner to get a good slipstream. Getting the slipstream of course. Not enough of one. Just need to look. Not going to help. Just set your line into this corner. Might get the car slowed down just about. Got some lines through that final second corner actually. You can actually run through and run wide and carry momentum, or you can keep right tight and get the drive off. It depends on how you feel. Tveit always out of shape. Although the car is very quick through those slow speed exits, it seems like it's a little bit of a handful at the same time. Like so fast, they're so committed over the top of the hill. And again, down through here, these big curves. Despite making move this time around. Pull back, just go VR a little bit, maybe he's pulled back just for a run at him, or maybe VR just went really quickly because Eric Tveit made a small mistake there. Oh, chopped right across his Torborg there. No need for that, Eric. Just held yourself up in the end. Back from the Ford. There it is for Torborg. Marco Felix is not far behind this group, so any incidents, any small mistakes from these guys, and it will result in them going through. Kevin Brent is dropping way back through the field here at the moment. It's not like Kevin Brent at all. He's usually one of the drivers who you find moves up through the field. He's back in 9th. He's starting 4th. He's dropped back in behind Ross McGregor. Maybe there's been a bit of battling going on there because he wasn't that far. This group was not that far behind Marco Felix before this. Gap is now some 3.4 seconds to Felix. It was only maybe a couple or 1.5 before. So maybe they've had a bit of a battle, a bit of a side-by-side battle. Whatever the case, McGregor is now up into 8th. He's one of those drivers who always moves forward through the field. Got the fastest lap at Simmons Plains. 1:05.8 from Levesque, so maybe the pace is dropping off ever so slightly. On to lap 17, of course. 1.4 seconds behind is Eric Strachan. Leading Levesque is 1.4 seconds. 2.8 over Daniel Asbury. 6.2 over Francisco Villar. Now, lots of drivers are very, very close there. Not. Oh! Off the track, Felix! Off the track, Felix! Oh, Felix backs it into the gravel trap. And all that hard work gone to waste. He reverses the car out of the gravel trap and gets going once again as Adrian Holm comes through. There's no sign of David. Oh, there was David Jones. Oh, so David Jones and Peter Davila have got ahead. Who's come to the pit? Somebody's must have come into the pits here. Leonard's out of the race. Leonard out of the race. When did that happen? Maybe that was the incident we're talking about. Lennon out of the race. Poor Gary Lennon, 2 years in a row at this particular track, not able to get any good results. So Lennon's out of the race. Felix back to 12th. That means Dave Lars up into 10th. Johnson in 9th. Back to 8th goes Kevin Brent. 7th place now Ross McGregor. 5 seconds behind Jesper Torborg. If people are stopping, we're going to see them fairly soon. See one there from James Johnson. He comes out of the pits. It's now lapped down, of course. But if people are stopping, you will see them around about this lap 19, maybe up to lap 20, maybe lap 21, but that's pushing it a little bit. It's a bit of counterproductive for them. 3.1 seconds now the gap, Asbury to Levesque. And Asbury once again not able to keep those tyres underneath him. Even by pushing very, very hard, he's still behind and still wearing his tyres more. Strani also struggled on that lap around there. We see a fairly big gaggle of cars in the background there. So just jump back to there. Here we are. It's a big gaggle of cars. Ortiz, I'll get out of the way there. That's what's happening here. So we've got a couple of lap cars in the mix here. That's what's going on. Bruno's Ferrari has been lapped by these drivers as well. So that's what's causing this traffic jam. But De Frey is right in behind Felix and Holm now. And Enderman is in the pits as well. So he's stopping. Oh, and Danny Asbury into the pits. Danny Asbury into the pits. Here he comes. Second place on the grid. Running third in the race. Dropped way down the field, of course, but into the pits he comes. Up into third goes Francisco Villar. Into fourth goes to Veit. Into fifth goes Torborg. Torborg will be betting that his tyres will last longer. He can go for a one-stop strategy and pick up those positions that he desperately needs. In and out of the pits comes Danny Asbury. 10.1 second pit stop. Fairly quick. Who's that going to the pits in the background also? Can't quite see who that was. Must have been Lee. No, it wasn't Lee Palmer. Somebody else also. No, I couldn't quite tell who it was. Must have been Lee Palmer then who was going to the pits. I thought it was a different colour scheme than that, but then after he dropped back into 15th, so he's back into 15th. But we'll see how that shakes out. Torborg's now into 4th. He's got past Eric to Veit, so Veit's made a mistake somewhere because now Torborg has passed him, and Torborg is pressuring Francisco Villar. Let's see if we just catch on the replay at all what happened with Eric de Veit and Jesper Torborg. There we go. So Eric de Veit got a taste of his own medicine. Apologies for the lag through there, but we will get to see it. There we go. There is the move. De Veit got it. Oh, Brent's out of the race. Brent's out of the race. What's happened to him? On the replay still, so let's fast forward. I apologise for the professional look at the fast forward, but let's see what's happened to him. Is it down here? It's not down here. Hit through into the first corner. Into the first corner. Oh, he's off. Oh, he doesn't slow down. Oh, and he's hit the barrier extremely hard there. And that's the end of Kevin Brent's race. Oh, it's been a miserable afternoon for Kevin Brent. It really has. It was a miserable afternoon at Simmons Plains as well. So both races with plenty of promise and not able to make it work. Ross McGregor is into the pits. Long pit stop for Ross McGregor. It's a long way behind Danny Asbury. The gap was only about, excuse me, the gap was only about 10 seconds behind Danny Asbury before that pit stop. And what kind of pit stop was that for Ross McGregor? Maybe repaired damage by accident, not quite sure what's happened there. Oh, we're on a replay section there, so let's see How many seconds behind Danny Asbury he is, we can't actually tell. Yeah, the top speedsman, British Lance Ferrer, got the fastest speed. Torborg, second. All very, very similar. We'll have to see how far behind Ross McGregor is and how much he lost in that pit stop. Looked like a long pit stop to me. Anybody else going to do a two-stop strategy? Everybody else, it seems, is on him. Oh, Torborg has got past Francisco Villa. Let's go back and watch that on replay also. Apologies for missing all of this action. And it's down into turn 1. Here we are. Down into turn 1. Jesper Torborg goes past him, down the inside. It's a regulation pass, so Torborg's up to third. What was a mediocre weekend has now become a great weekend at the moment for Jesper Torborg. His gap of a second on VR already. Here comes James Johnson. He's trying to lap himself, of course. He's got much better tyres. Tvite's made a big mistake on that lap also as well, so he's really got ragged again. He really cannot keep it together, Eric. Keep it together. He's doing so much better. And he's now some 5 seconds behind Jesper Torborg after being ahead of him just 3 or 4 laps ago. Gap between Strani and Levesque is 4.5 seconds. Strani is right in the middle of a bit of lap traffic. Here's Enderman and Navarro. Fastest lap of the race there from Danny Asbury, 4.755. That is scintillating pace from Danny Asbury. Really fantastic pace from Danny Asbury. And it's a 1.4.775. That's 3/10 faster than anybody else in this race has gone so far. In fact, I think Danny Asbury's gone half a second faster than anybody else so far in this race. Fastest I've seen is a 5.2 from William Levesque, and he's on a 4.7 and a 5.0. So Danny Asbury has the speed, but he doesn't seem like he has the strategy. Enderman trying to unlap himself from Eric Strani, and Strani does not need this. He's 5.5 seconds behind William Levesque. He does not need Kevin Enderman interfering with his race. He wants Enderman just to stay there and stay behind him for the next 6 laps, but it seems like it's not going to be the case. As you see, oh, there's Lee Palmer. He's got some huge damage there on his car. Thought I saw him just in front of the camera. Enderman goes through, and now Strani will be telling Enderman, just get on with it. Get on with it. Move out of my way. It shows the difference in the tyre wear here. Enderman nowhere near the pace of Eric Strani. Normally, Eric Strani is getting a bit out of shape, a bit flustered with all that. Of course, Enderman is completely entitled to do so, but from Eric Strani's point of view, he will be fuming. Excuse me, but Levesque is still pumping in 1 minute 5 lap times. It really is fantastic driving there from Levesque. 1 minute 5 still, 1 minute 6.22 that time around. Well, after 24 laps, and Strani dropped, I think, some 2 seconds on that lap. 2 seconds. His tyres are completely dropped off the edge. Here comes Torborg a sniffing. Dave Law's got ahead of Francisco Villa also. The drivers are not managing their tyres well here today at all. Torborg just 9/10 of a second behind Eric Strani now. It's going to be a matter of time before Torborg goes straight past Eric Strani. And somehow, Jesper Torborg just looks like he's going to just get a second place out of this race. It is quite incredible. Then Asbury is gaining 1.2 seconds a lap on William Levesque at the moment. And just a quick bit of sums in my head. If he does 20 laps 1 second faster, because of course he has the 10 laps each time around to make up that speed, that's only 20 seconds, and the pit stops are longer than 20 seconds. He lost some 42 seconds in the pit stop, so he'll end up being still 20 seconds behind the pace of Levesque. But hopefully he'll hope that Levesque's tyre wear will continue to get worse and worse and worse and worse. And we'll look for Danny. There is in 10th place on the plug-in there. You can see that. He is 42.7 seconds behind. What is he at the end of this lap? Let's see him as he comes to the end of the lap. It's to be around about 30 seconds time. That 1 lap means he's not 1 lap behind, just the plug-in decides if you don't get to the next sector before the leader's got to his next sector, you're a lap behind. 41.5 seconds, so he's getting another 1.2 seconds on that lap from Danny Asbury. He needs to continue to do that. Strani is fighting for all he is worth here. He kept as tight a line as he dared through that corner there. Johnson is right in behind this group. He'll not be happy about them being ahead of him, but he can't do anything about it, of course. Strani has to hang on for another 4 laps. Yeah, that's the problem. Another 4 laps before he can pit to make it a one-stop strategy. And now Torborg down the inside. Strani has no answer. Torborg up into second. And once again, it looks like Torborg just going to pull himself out of any bad situation here. John's going to go down the inside of Torborg here. Oh, I'm not sure that's advisable. You want to let Torborg get a gap to Strani first and then go past him. And then just put Torborg under pressure, put your team under pressure. That's not a good idea to do, of course. Lee Palmer. Wow. A 1 minute 28 pit stop for Lee Palmer. He struggles on through this race. His teammate is a good friend, sorry, should I say, and teammate last year, of course. Adam Egby had, of course, that huge accident last year. It doesn't look good for the DSC crew. Levesque now has the 10-second lead. Asbury's got past Marco Felix, so something's happened to Marco Felix. He's dropped back in behind Asbury by several seconds. Torborg continues to march away from Eric Strani. Dave Villar gaining on Strani, but not by as much as he would be hoping to do so. VR there is in 5th, and Junt's right behind Francisco VR. Couldn't be any closer than the back of the Portuguese's car through there. Bit of a dent there in the front of David Junt's car, it seems like to me. And the Swiss driver outshining Adrian Hull once again. His teammates. Junt just swerving around the mirrors, making sure VR notices him. Looks off before the braking zone. Oh, VR's around! Oh, he's not around! But he is around! He is around! Into the gravel he goes. He almost held that, but into the gravel. Oh, it's just one of those boards actually. In the end, I didn't mention that it was a bit front bumper, but it's actually one of those boards. And Francisco VR off the track. Let's have a quick replay of that. Here we are. Oh, it's a classic case. It's a classic case getting the wheel on the outside of the corner. And into the gravel pit it goes. Out of it once again, but that's another mistake for Francisco VR and another position lost. That's live action. And at Asbury, he's going to try to go inside of Nicky Dufresne. Does not need Nicky Dufresne to hold him up. And I don't think Dufresne's going to be able to do so anyway. His tyres will be completely second hand. And Asbury's through. Forces his way through. Great move there. Oh, and Lee Palmer down the inside. Oh, Nicky Dufresne, Lee Palmer's way down the field. What on earth is he doing? It's okay lapping yourself, but lapping yourself in that particular fashion, I'm not sure is particularly pleasing to poor Nicky Dufresne. Lee Palmer's still missing the back of his car. He has demolished that car in that accident. Asbury's now 39 seconds behind William Levesque. He's gained 6 seconds since his pit stop was on lap 20, if I recall correctly. Lap 20. 6 seconds in 8 laps, not quite enough, I don't think. Oh, out of shape, Danny Asbury as well. He needs to be calm. Has to be calm, has to push hard, but of course has to be calm as well. Adrian Hull is 5 seconds ahead of him. I feel Danny Asbury is probably fighting with Eric Strani for a podium position here today. Looks like Torborg and Levesque are just too far ahead, with better strategies and better tyre wear. The other fights through the field here. Ross McGregor all by himself to fight way down the field now. Ross McGregor is there at this was just trying to check. He's there at the bridge now, of course. Danny Asbury is way down here. So maybe Ross McGregor didn't lose as much in the pit stops as I thought he did, but he is on a 2-stop strategy. Hopefully relying on other people to make mistakes. Well, on Strani into the pits. Strani into the pits. Dave Lar has dropped lots of time on that lap. He was 17 seconds behind the lead. Now 22 seconds behind. What's happened to him? But Strani into the pits finally gets rid of those tyres. He'd be sick of them. Levesque. Here he is. Almost gets hit by Kevin Enderman. Wants to come to the pits actually, I think. Lap 28. In lap 28, Eric Strani coming in, of course. They're not quite splitting the race in half, but Levesque will be perfectly splitting the race in half. We'll be pitting this time around. We're glad to get rid of the nuisance of the stopping Kevin Enderman, should I say. So here comes William Levesque into the pits. No one to push particularly hard and stops perfectly on the marks. This Torborg should be pitting this time around. No, he's not. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Here he comes. Torborg in. Gap is 9.8 seconds. Torborg gained 0.3 of a second on the braking there. Dave Lar, will he pit? He must pit. He does. Into the pits he comes. Ooh, get it slowed down, Peter. Oof. Get it slowed down, indeed. David Yunt carries on. So David Yunt will assume the lead of this race. Levesque, here he comes out of the pits. A gap of 9.8 seconds. Before that stop, Asbury, as expected, takes the lead of the race. Asbury was 38 seconds behind at the line from William Levesque. So let's see what gap Levesque has to him. We'll see exactly how much it costs. In a pit stop, Tolborg is now back to 6th. Peter Davelaar, there he is. Gap between Levesque and Asbury, there he is. There's Levesque, there's Asbury. The gap is 11.4. So Levesque's pit stop cost him some 49 seconds. Of course, Asbury has to go through that again. Slightly shorter pit stop because he doesn't have to take as much fuel on, but 45 seconds, pretty much how far Asbury has to be ahead over this rest of the stint and the next stint. Of course, now Levesque has fresher tyres than Asbury in this particular stint. But for the final 20 laps of the race, I guess Asbury will have the fresher tyres, and that's what he's counting on. Yunt that time around 109.5. Into the pits he comes. Yunt into the pits. Final person to pits. The field is now cleansed. Elliot Asbury is leading this race. Of course, he still has to make one more pit stop than William Levesque, who's in 2nd. Ross McGregor is in 3rd, right behind William Levesque. 4th is David Yunt, but he will drop back down. There goes Eric de Veit. It's just for Tolborg. Tolborg is now 11.8 seconds behind William Levesque, so he's lost 2 seconds in that pit stop. Levesque a much better pit stop than Jesper Tolborg. Eric Strachan is in 6th. He's way behind Tolborg now, of course, as you would expect. Kevin Enderman, he is in 7th. Very pleased with that. In fact, actually, Kevin Enderman is ahead of some other people who are doing 2 stoppers as well. Way up the field, and he didn't have a great start to the race either. Peter Davelaar is in 8th. He's on a 1 stop. Francisco Villa is in 9th. He's on a 1 stop. David Yunt's in 10th. He's on a 1 stop. As is Holm. I think maybe Hugo Gomez is on a 2 stop, but we can confirm. Asbury on a 2 stop. Levesque on a 1 stop. McGregor on a 2. De Veit on a 2. Tolborg, Strani, both on a 1 stop. We've got Enderman on a 2. Peter Davelaar on 1. VR on 1. Yunt on 1. And Holm on 1. So those are contenders there. Bear those figures in mind. What Asbury will be hoping to do is not lose too much time to William Levesque. Hopefully no more than 5 seconds over the next 7 laps or so. Just keep that gap as high as he can possibly keep it. Come into the pits, make his pit stop, and then make the run for home, where he'll be hoping to be around about 1.5 seconds a lap faster than Levesque over that run, but that's going to be a very long shot indeed. Adrian Holm had a very quiet race. 2nd place at Simmons Plains, and not able to produce it here, unfortunately. A bit surprising, really, because they're quite similar tracks in the way they undulate and on the track itself. Quite bumpy track at Simmons Plains. It's a very bumpy track here, of course. Maybe Yunt and Holm just not able to find that magic and the testing time they needed. So often this season they've been so well matched, always running together on the track. Yunt and Holm for Nidra Racing. Chris Williamson, the guy who owns this team. The teams at the moment are 151 Motorsports, then THR, then Black Bite Motorsport, then NFS Scandinavia, then THR, Optimum, Team Down Under, and then Precision Motorsports and THR again. So, and then with Nijo and Nijo, so we've got plenty of variation in there. Peter's back in 13th. He's way behind his teammate. We were saying earlier, weren't we, that Hugo Gomez maybe not has the speed of his illustrious teammate, but certainly in the races he makes sure he doesn't make the mistakes that Felix makes, and is able to move up to the field and challenge his teammate, or his Portuguese teammate. So Felix looks like he's gaining on his teammate quite rapidly here, actually. In fact, let's stick with this battle at the moment. Let's keep an eye on the front field. Well, it's 11 seconds between Levesque and Asbury. McGregor is dropping back from Levesque, but keeping pace with Asbury at the moment. Gap is 10.9 now, Levesque, so he's into the pits once again. He's had a terrible afternoon, in stark contrast to his teammate Eric Strani. believe Eric Strachan is going to be fighting with Asbury for that third position. Here comes Felix now, ranging up on the back of his teammate Hugo Gomez. Hugo lets him go through. So Hugo lets him go through. Oh, and Felix, woo, way off the track. Hugo doesn't let him go through. Thank you very much, Marco. You do that every time. I'll just go back through and take the position, and then Felix has another half-hearted go, doesn't take the position. It costs them both at least a second there in time. And every second counts. You just cannot keep costing yourself 1 second, 2 seconds here and there. You drop back so far, you cannot make it back up again. And if you do try to make it back up again, and you push hard, you ruin the tyres. So it really is a balancing act. 4 laps to go until I feel Daniel Asbury comes back into the pits, so the gap is 10.8 seconds. Keep the gap to 8 seconds, then he'll sure be pretty pleased with his afternoon's work. There is Daniel Asbury, looking through the field of the standings once again. James Johnson is out of the race, DNF for him. He's slipped under the radar somewhere, not sure what's happened to him, it was a disconnect. Usually is when it's just a DNF. Navarro gets out of the way of Daniel Asbury sportingly. And just while the action is pretty calm here, we're just going to go for a quick ad break, and we'll be right back after this.
GamePod, the ultimate race rig for those serious about sim racing, puts you in the driver's seat with all the controls at your fingertips. Be number one on the road, in the race, in the game. GamePod, the choice of champions.
Back now to the action, and I do apologise for the media today. It's going on fast forward for some reason, but GamePod there, as I say, sponsored this series. They're providing a GamePod GT2, £1,200. That's €1,600, $1,700 prize for the winner of the Virtual V8 Supercars Championship. It looks like it's going to be Jesper Torborg, of course. And also, there's also a GT1 wheel stand worth, I think it's worth £120, British pounds that is, €150 I believe, if I recall correctly. That's going to go to in a random draw for all drivers who compete in every race and complete at least half of the race distance, aside from the champion, of course. So that's everybody who commits themselves and has raced in every event also gets put into the draw for that. Again, they're doing the same thing for the Virtual Clio Series, a GamePod GT2 racing rig up for grabs there, but that's going to be for everybody who completes every lap of every race in the season. That's going to a draw for those drivers. But make sure you finish all the races in the Virtual Clio Series if you're willing to compete. If you're going to complete in that, should I say? Oh, and Jesper Torborg is back to 4th. Jesper Torborg's back to 4th. What's happened here? I have no idea what's happened here. Ross McGregor's involved in this as well. He's back to 6th. McGregor goes into the pits. Did Torborg and McGregor come together? It looks like they were close on track. McGregor's into the pits. And now Torborg's back down to 4th. So this puts under threat Torborg's chance at 2nd place. Maybe Danny Asbury can beat him to 2nd place now. So Danny is keeping himself in the hunt here. One more lap to go before he pits, I believe. Back to the live action, should I say. Apologies for that. And then Asbury down into the first corner here, lap 38. Should be pitting either this time or next time. Pushing a bit too hard there. Danny, just keep it together. Keep it together over the next 2 laps. All we need to do. New drivers need some coaching, I tell you. Eric de Veit is now up into 3rd ahead of Jesper Torborg once again, so that's more complications for Jesper Torborg. This track has not been kind to him either this year or last year. It's never been kind to the champion of the series, actually. De Vries crashed at the first corner here in 2010. Strauss had an absolute mare race here in 2011. Torborg is champion-elect and is having a bit of an off day by his standards. So maybe this track is cursed for the champion. Maybe you have to do badly at Oran Park to win the Virtual V8 Supercars Championship. That's the secret! We've cracked the code! New badly at Oran Park, and then you will do well in the Virtual V8 Supercar Championship. 2010, I managed to crash at Oran Park. I didn't win the championship, so maybe that doesn't work. But either way, Asbury to the pits. Here we go. So I demolished the car back in 2010 up against the bridge. Absolutely demolished the car. Nothing left of the front end of that one. Glad that wasn't caught on camera. I would never be able to let that one down. But I do mention it all the time, so maybe I should just shut up about it. Asbury out of the pits, 10.7 seconds. McGregor pitted quite early there. Not quite sure why he decided to pit a couple of laps early. But it's lap 39, I guess. 20 laps to go. Was that almost driving into the side of the wall there? Was that? That was a VR, I think. I was driving to the end of the pit wall. Just about managed to get away with it. That's that little kink in the wall as the track blends back into itself. Asbury rejoins in 8th. A nice clear track ahead of him actually. Just ahead of Holmes. That's perfect for him. Harry Junt's up ahead of him. Junt won't be pitting again though. So now Asbury, of course, has to pass all these drivers. He has to pass. He has to pass, in fact, everybody ahead of him if he wants to beat them, either on track or while they're in the pits, because all the guys ahead of him now are on a one-stop strategy. Same goes for Ross McGregor. All the guys ahead of him, one-stop strategy, of course, apart from Danny Asbury. Into the pits comes Tveit. So Tveit kind of was a two-stop strategy. Not quite sure what's going on there, because he didn't do it. It's kind of a half and half. Weird strategy from Eric Tveit. It's not really worked for him because he's made too many mistakes, but that's one driver less for Asbury to pass. And there is Danny Asbury. Oh, right behind his teammate, look. Right behind Andy Johns. Gives the lights a little bit of flash, let Andy know he's there. Andy will plan ahead to let his teammate through, I'm sure. Oh, talk about planning ahead. He had a whole schedule written up. Put that in his calendar. Asbury's through, so he's got a clear run now with David Junt, 2 seconds behind him. Should eat that gap up pretty quickly. Of course, compared to earlier, there's not quite the same tyre wear in the first couple of laps, but of course that will continue to get worse and worse for the drivers ahead of him. VR is in 5th, and he's kind of a bit lonely at the moment. He's managed to shake off David Junt in the end, though. I'm sure he's glad of that. He had a great start to the race, really on form, and then just dropped away massively, really, making mistakes and not on the pace and all over the places. Eric Tveit pressured him, but Tveit's rejoined in 10th, as you can see. He's behind Ross McGregor. Sorry for flipping to the field here. Here is Eric Tveit behind Ross McGregor, just behind Ross McGregor. So that could be a great battle towards the end. Adrian Holm here is in 8th. Continues to be behind his teammate. And Adrian 7th. David Junt, Francisco VR. 4th place is Peter Develar. 3rd place is Eric Strani. And 2nd place is Jesper Tolborg. Despite that weird incident for Jesper Tolborg, I think he is gaining on William Levesque. Oh, he was gaining on Levesque until this lap. 14.1 seconds behind now. Maybe Levesque just went through that traffic that Tolborg's coming up to right now, just ahead of him. And of course, Tolborg's gone through the traffic also, so that's held him up. Tolborg was just 9.8 seconds behind him when he went into the pits. Now he's 13.9, so he's lost a net 4.1 seconds overall since the pit stop, since entering the pit lane, should I say. And he may have a bit of a fight in his hands to gain that 2nd position now ahead of Danny Asbury. Tolborg doesn't have to stop again, of course. Oh, he's gone very deep there. He's gone so deep it changed cameras. He went so deep. He also went on the other side of the track and changed cameras on us. Oh. Yes, for Tolborg. He's gone down now down the inside of Ivan Navarro. He's taking Enderman with him. He was on a two-stop strategy himself. Maybe Enderman will fancy chances of getting past Jesper Tolborg here with those fresher tyres. There is the battered and bruised and the eventful Lee Palmer ahead of him. Becky's continued to put in superb lap times right now, 5.5 and 5.6. Lap after lap at the moment. Oh, and Palmer just about gets out of the way, not sure whether he knew where to go there. As Enderman pulls alongside him and puts him a lap down also. Let's track Asbury's progress actually right now, because this is going to be the next big battle on track. Asbury going to try to go down the inside of Yunt at some point. Oh, just out dragging down the straight at the moment. VR's made a mistake at the final corner. We saw plenty of grass as he exited the flip-flop. So he's right back here now as well. I'm not sure whether this is better for Asbury to have to fight two people at once, or worse. Oh, he just got out. Just came through ahead of his teammate there. Scary moment as you exit the pits there, because people approach so fast. It's such a dangerous part of the circuit. Oh, down the inside, Asbury. Oh, that was a bit of a weird move there. Very late weird move from Asbury. I know he needs to get on with it, but he can't do weird moves like that, because he don't come off, cost you even more time, of course. He misses break on or what, I'm not quite sure, but it was a bit of a desperate lunge. He's cool. He's been known to lose his cool in races. Off the track there, Ortiz. His miserable afternoon continues. Don't put the effort in and the practice on this track, you get punished, and that is the case. Every driver. So Ortiz didn't put the practice in, of course, just making a general statement. Asbury continues to try to get up the win. Well, there's the front wheel lock there into the first turn. Oh, there's VR way out of shape ahead of him. Uncovers this time. Oh, now Asbury has just punted him off. That was a stupid move there from Danny Asbury. Absolutely stupid. Ridiculous move there from Danny Asbury. No chance going down the inside. Braked far too late and just pushed David Junt way off the track, far too quickly into the corner. David Junt has to wait for his teammate to come through, and Ortiz, before he gets going once again. And Danny Asbury will be in trouble with the stewards for that one. That was very poor indeed. Asbury continues along his run back to live action now. 1.7 seconds behind VR. He's not gained on VR as a result of that. He's got out of shape. Top was 13.3 seconds behind within the Vettel. He's had a very poor lap that time, around 1.7.2 as he got traffic around him. Ockerclint is around about that area, so maybe he's done a bit of trouble getting around Jonathan Ockerclint. It was a bit difficult to get around at Simmons Plains, has to be said. Esteban continues to track Jesper Tolborg. I'm sure that's a nuisance Jesper Tolborg can do without. He's gaining on Levesque still. 12.9 seconds is the gap. Garnett behind still, 70.7 seconds back. On course for that podium position. Ray Asbury's going. He's not going to be able to get that gap down quickly enough at this rate. It's Dave Lara in fourth. Solid as ever. Poor qualifying session, but just been calm throughout the race. Very much his style. Nothing gets Peter Dave Lara into flap. Just gets on with his race. If somebody hits him, he just gets on with it. If something happens ahead of him, takes advantage. Gap to go down to overtake, he takes it. For the gap to go down, he doesn't take it. He really is a really classy driver. Here's Francisco VR and Danny Asbury now. VR's not a shrinking pilot when it comes to drivers trying to pass him. Danny Asbury may find himself behind him for a number of laps here. Of course, I know VR will realise he's not going to hold Danny Asbury up for the next 11 laps. Won't be making it easy for the American. Danny Asbury from Philadelphia. Of course, he's our media writer. Asbury. Numbers to get close on the straight. To remind you of the next Touring Pro Series broadcast. There it is. Excuse me. I'm sick of this cold. I do apologise for all the people who have to listen to my croaky, horrible voice at the moment. And it's at Santa Cruz del Sul for the 4th round of the World Supertech Series Season 2. Callan has an iron grip on the championship at the moment, but Tommy Nielsen is keeping the pressure up in that championship. Callan has 4 wins and Nielsen has 2. So the teammates have really been dominating so far this season. You can see me driving that also as well. Toby Davis and Liam Jenkins will run you through that event from 21:20 GMT. That's 20 past 10 UK, 20 past 11 in Central Europe, and it's 17:20, 20 past 5 in on the east. Oh, sorry, on the east coast. Sorry, on the east coast of the of North America. And it's 18:20 GMT for those who wanted to watch from Brazil. Of course, they are Brazilian stock cars using the game stock car, and we'll also be using game stock car for the next series we have coming up, which is the Virtual Mini Challenge Series. That starts at the end of September. Looking forward to that. Late on Saturday nights to try and let plenty of the rest of the world join in with that. Looking forward to that indeed. The screenshots look fantastic for that car. I'm looking forward to driving that. I really am. I'm going to be driving in that one as well. And Toby Davis and Liam Jenkins once again, I think, will be calling the shots on that one. Keith Barrick will be around in that one also as well. So plenty of drivers, and Danny Asbury as well. So plenty of drivers for you to cheer on or boo or whatever you wish to do in that particular event. So we still can't get past Francisco Villa at the moment. I'm not sure I've seen too many drivers as difficult to pass as Francisco Villa. Maybe Toby Davis, one of those drivers. Asbury's getting more and more frustrated. Couldn't get past David Jones without punting him off. So maybe he'll do the same. Where has Daniel Asbury gone? He was way back. What's happened to him there? Half a second at the line. Definitely not half a second now. Like he lost power on the straights. Danny Asbury's hopes of a podium here are dwindling very fast indeed. Got 9 laps to go to catch up to Eric Strani. He's got 20 seconds to make up. It's not going to happen. David Hunt is in 7th. He's got past his teammate Adrian Hull. And here is how he did it. At the first turn, down the inside, Holmes was quite gentlemanly there and let his teammate go through. Has shown better pace than him throughout this race. A little surprised Ross McGregor hasn't moved forward through the field a bit more. Eric Device got ahead of him, so maybe Ross went to battle and made a mistake somewhere because Eric Device was behind him after the pit stop. So Ross McGregor not able to gain on Device at all. Device is one who's going to take the challenge to Adrian Holm, it seems. There is Adrian Holm just ahead of him, you can see, the blue car. The light blue car. Just up ahead. He meant to turn 1. There he is. It's the gap between those two. He's just 2.2 seconds. Device, of course, has better pace and better tyre wear, so this could be a couple of positions he can make up. Right, we're aiming for that 7th place. McGregor will also hope to buy into that. Nicky Frey's some way behind that group, so the top 10, a long way ahead of the rest of the field at the moment. Here's the rest of the field. Musgrove and Ortiz and Palmer bringing up the rear at the moment, 5 laps behind Ortiz and Palmer. But an absolutely shocking race. And 5 laps behind really is terrible. Nicky Frey is not 1 lap behind, I think. Oh, maybe he is actually 1 lap behind. Yes, he is 1 lap behind. So everybody up until Ross McGregor has been lapped by William Levesque. So the top 10 are all in the lead lap. Danny Asbury, I'm not sure what's happened to him because he's dropping back further and further behind Francisco VR here. Maybe he's ruined his tyres completely, or just feels bad about David Jones and he's kind of waiting for him. I'm not quite sure what's happened here. Has he got damage on the front of his car? But left, he has got a bit of a dent, it seems, but not something that you would expect to harm him that much. Maybe the steering is bent completely because he's got a big bump in the front of that car. It really is. He really has messed up Andy John's beautifully painted car. Eric Tveit, there he is. There is Oran to Veit. He's going to get there. He's going to get to Adrian Holm very quickly indeed. Mortief moving out of the way pretty soon here, I would guess. There he goes. Lets the Veit go through. Vex still leads by 13.7 seconds from Jesper Torborg. Looks like it's going to be another dominant win for Levesque. 6 laps to go here, guys. Less than 6 minutes of racing, I believe. Yep, 6 minutes of racing, because of course Levesque way around the track by now. Levesque on for his 3rd win in a row. And Veit, let's go down the inside of... Where's Holm gone? Holm must have gone straight off. We didn't even see because we were on that side of the camera. Holm must have gone straight off. Here we are into... Yep, straight off. Straight off goes Adrian Holm. Uses the gravel to get him slowed down. Gets going once again. Ross McGregor will fancy a piece of that now as a result. Holm in 9th, to Veit in 8th, so he's just behind. There he is, just behind Adrian Holm. David Yuns now. Just needs to push a few more. He might get to that 7th place. Danny Asbury is now 6/10 behind Francisco VR again. All of a sudden, he pushes very, very hard indeed, and too hard, gone wide, and that's going to be another hard slog to catch back up to the back of Francisco VR once again. And although, I mentioned that VR would not have held off Asbury for 11 laps, but seems like Asbury has been the master of his own downfall here today. At the pace, had to keep calm as he came through the field, didn't do so, and it's cost him. It's cost him. But to be at least another 10 seconds further up the field now as a result. If he hadn't done those mistakes, he would have been close to Peter Davelart, putting pressure on Peter Davelart. Not putting pressure on Peter Davelart does anything at all, but I mean, at least he would have been a lot closer. 6th place will be disappointing for him. Vio got another top 5 this season so far. Just can't quite get to the podium though, Francesco. Of course, if Francesco stays where he is, which I'm not overly optimistic of that, because of course Asbury has much better tyres at the moment, and VR's tyres will be crying and screaming for help at the moment. Yuns, there he is. There is to Veit. Gap is just 1 second, so this is the battle to watch out for. While Levesque, sorry not giving too much coverage to Levesque, but Levesque, of course, is miles ahead. There is Holm, and there is McGregor. So these are the 2 battles. Yuns and to Veit, Holm and McGregor. And Yuns will be very, very sore if Eric to Veit gets ahead of him, because that would have been directly caused by Danny Asbury. He would have been perhaps not too fussed if Asbury had only punted him off and costed the position that Asbury was going to take, it seemed anyway, with the fresher tyres. But if he goes back to 7th as well, he will be blaming Danny Asbury for that. Not be happy. But still leads. There it's Veit for that 7th position, but I feel not going to be for much longer. So Veit only has 15 laps on these tyres. Yuns has 25 laps on his tyres. And to Veit now has the run. Oh, it's going to be dangerous. Into the first turn they come on the outside. To Veit, oh, he's off. To Veit is off. To Veit is off. Oh, he's made that mistake. And now will Holm and McGregor come through? Here they come. To Veit's back on the track. Here come Holm and McGregor, fighting their way back. And Yuns is going to hit a 7th position. Yuns is going to take that 7th position. Just 2.5 laps to go. And Eric to Veit once again over eager. It's cost him that 6th place. Ross McGregor right in behind. Oh, there's a big traffic jam there. Oh, poor Ivan Navarro. Ivan Navarro get out of the way. McGregor took advantage and boxed Holm in. Holm had nowhere to go, and poor Ivan Navarro must have had his eyeballs on stalks there as those 2 descending on him. Scary part of the track as well, over the top of that bridge. Eric to Veit now will finish 8th. He won't get that 7th place. Young will take that 7th place, I believe. McGregor's going ahead of Holm. McGregor challenged to Veit, though. Don't think so. Looks to me like Willie Levesque is going to take his third win in a row, and he will become the third driver in Virtual V8 Supercars history to take 3 wins in a row. Lawrence Strauss did it, taking 5. As for Torborg, in the 3 races previous to these 3 races, Willy Levesque has took 3 in a row, and Levesque now will put his name in the history books once again. He's driving absolutely superbly. This guy really understands the car. And as we come towards the final part of this race, I just notify you guys that we have a podcast coming out on Monday and Tuesday. It was that long, the debate. We had a debate between Ivan Navarro, Danny Asbury, Reese Gardner, Toby Davis and myself over the greatest drivers in TPS history. The debate went on for so long in the end, it was so entertaining that we ended up having to split the podcast into 2 parts. So look out for that on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/TouringProSeries, and you'll get that first Monday night, probably Tuesday morning for those people in the EU. So of course Danny Asbury is the guy who's in charge of that, and he is in America. But Levesque starts his final lap. You can find out where Levesque was in our list in that podcast, of course. Torborg's in there, Peter Davilar's in there, Francisco Villar's in there. That will be entertaining to look at as well and to listen to. And we're great fun recording it, so we hope you guys had great fun watching it and listening to it also. But Levesque, here he is. Self-proclaimed master of Oran Park is going to assert himself as the master of Oran Park. Took that pole position just about from Danny Asbury, just like Jasperina. After pipping Asbury to the pole, he's gone on to be fantastic in the race. Although he didn't win at Jasperina, he's going to win here today. Willy Levesque comes down towards the final corner, over the flip-flop for the final time. Here is the final corner. William Levesque is going to win this race. He drifts around the final corner. Levesque's championship charge continues, and it's the 3rd win in a row for the French-Canadian. Willy Levesque wins for THR, and that's 6 wins in a row for THR as well in the championship. Levesque is very, very pleased with that indeed. Doing donuts on the track. 2nd place, Jesper Torborg. Congratulations to him. After a difficult event, he still takes 2nd. So Torborg still looks odds-on favourite for that championship. 3rd place, Eric Strani. Fantastic result for him. 4th place to Peter Davilar. Almost got to that podium position once again in the final standings. 5th place here is going to be Francisco Villar. Another 5th place for Francisco. There he goes. He takes that position. 6th place, Danny Asbury. There he is. Just ahead of him, of course. 7th place, David Jones. 8th place, Ross McGregor. And Ross McGregor did get Eric Savai to the end. 9th place, Adrian Holm. 10th place, 9th place, Eric Savai, sorry. 10th place, Adrian Holm. 11th was Kevin Enderman. He'll be pretty pleased with that. It's his best result of the season so far. 12th for Nicky Defray. 13th for Marco Felix. 14th for Bruno Salles Ferreira. Oh dear. 15th for Hugo Gomez. 16th place for Jonathan Arcaclint. 17th place for Andy Johns. Bit of a miserable afternoon for Andy Johns. I hope he's done better than that. 18th place for Ivan Navarro. 19th place for Rob Musgrove. He'll be very pleased with that on his debut in Division 1. Way inside the top 20. 20th for Ortiz. And 21st for Lee Palmer. Drivers who did not finish the race include James Johnson, Kevin Brent and Gary Lennon. So congratulations to Willy Levesque, and we will be back with the driver interviews after this.
GamePod, the ultimate race rig for those serious about sim racing. Puts you in the driver's seat with all the controls at your fingertips. Be number 1 on the road, in the race, in the game. GamePod, the choice of champions.
it needs to have momentum.
Sorry, William, can we go back to the start of the driver interviews? It's my, I had it all on mute. I apologise to the viewers there. I had it all on mute while the video was playing. Sorry, William.
Oh
so,
God.
William, we'll start again like it hasn't actually happened.
Okay.
Okay. Hey, congratulations on your event. Were you a bit worried when you saw that the qualifying wasn't going quite to plan?
Not really, because I knew I had the pace in the race and the tire preservation as well. With Danny struggling a lot on his tires, as we saw at Yas Marina, and Strane not being quite as bad, but not that good either. I knew I had something to get out of it, even if I wasn't on pole. But managed to get it in the last few moments, and from there it just, like last two races really, just putting strong laps.
Yeah, I mean, you've taken those 3 wins in a row now, as you know, you must be very, very proud of that. You've joined, only 2 people have done that in Virtual V8 Supercars history. Jesper, of course, your teammates, and Florian Strauss. How does it feel to be, you know, associated with those names, in the same sentence as those names?
It feels great, because it's not really the people you're with after an achievement, but you see the bigger picture, the championship, and it means I have momentum, and I can just work on that to get better results, and try to put somewhat of a fight to Jesper, and maybe a bit of how do you say play on his mind a bit.
Well, I mean, it looked like he's going to have an average event, William, and then he ends up still taking 2nd place, and you only take 3 points off him. I mean, must be frustrating.
I know. Obviously, I don't want him to crash or anything, but it'd be nice if he had somewhat of a mistake. But good job to him. I mean, there's a reason why he's the greatest driver in TPS history. He showed it today, coming back from 6th on such a tight track.
Absolutely, and it was a great drive from Jesper, a great drive from yourself. Congratulations, and we wish you the best at Sydney Park, and of course at Bathurst also as well. I mean, you got Alexander Sene driving with you at Bathurst. William, how do you feel about that? Are you confident?
Well, we'll work on pace and tire preservation a bit. Obviously, he's known to be a good driver, being a big contender in the race department Game Stock Car Championship last season. So we'll just work on that, and we'll see how it goes at Bathurst.
Okay, thank you very much, William. We're going to talk to 2nd place, Jesper Torborg now. Mr. Jesper Torborg Nielsen. Jesper, it was a bit lackluster really, but you still ended up with a 2nd place. I mean, how did you manage that?
Well, just kept my tires, and I was stuck behind some Eric, I think, and I saved tires by that, and then I just could cruise by them at the end of the stint.
I mean, absolutely. I mean, how are you keeping all throughout the season? The tires have been such a crucial factor in the end. I mean, lots and lots of people can match, you know, in terms of 1 lap pace. There are lots and lots of people who can do fast laps now in the TPS, but it's been the next level has been the tyre wear. I mean, how do you manage to keep the tyres underneath you so well, so much better than other people?
Well, actually, it's quite easy for me. If I just stay behind people, then I don't push so hard, and the tires keep cold.
Fair enough. There we go. There you have it. Just stay behind somebody, and you'll win the race, apparently, according to Jesper Torborg. And of course, you must still be very confident to take this title. You've got a 58-point lead, I believe now, if my in-the-head maths are correct. 58 points is a good margin with 2 races to go, right?
Yep, it feels pretty good, but I'm gonna stay focused as long as the series ends.
Absolutely. So we'll look forward to what could be your coronation in a month and 4 days' time. Well done on your drive today. It was a great drive through the field, and a great drive today as well from Eric Strane. Eric, your best race of the season so far, but I got the impression you were so close, but yet so far in the end.
Yeah. I'm not a big fan of these tires. I mean, I think qualifying, I showed I had the 1 lap speed. I was ahead of Danny and William sector here and there, and then once again I can't nail the entire lap. But I think I showed in the end the last 2 or 3 laps. That was, I don't think there's a word to describe it. Terrifying is probably quite close, but yeah.
But why didn't you just stay behind somebody and save tyres like Jesper?
I was trying. I couldn't keep up. they were already dead by then when he passed, and it's a bit difficult then.
Well, let's talk about the challenges that these tyres, give the drivers. Of course, many drivers have been complaining about them, but of course it's the same for everybody else, and there are some people who can manage to get them underneath them. So, I mean, what makes them so tricky?
I think it's like the small margin for error that you have with them, because I get the feeling that it's not. It's more about driving style than hot lapping. Then tires are gonna not be that big of a deal. But over the entire race distance, when you have all these different driving styles, that's what makes the difference in the end. And it seems that I don't really have a driving style or something, but something to work on.
What do you feel you need to do to get that tyre wear that you obviously need?
If I knew that, I would have done it a couple of months ago, but right now I'm still trying to figure out what it is. I'm not quite sure, but I hope I'll get there.
Hopefully, and of course you've been improving throughout the season fantastically, so we wish you well for the rest of the season. Congratulations on your 3rd place.
Thank you.
And now we're going to move quickly to Danny Asbury. I mean, Danny, pit for pole once again, and then we're leading the race out, of course, on a different strategy, driving back through the field, and then you just seem to just run out of gas after punting David off.
Well, the first thing I will comment on is David. I mean, completely my fault there, man. I went in way too hot, misjudged the braking zone, and before I knew it... 2 laps in a row. Dave was a little weak in that braking zone, and I was completely overzealous, and then the second time, it was just completely messed up on my part. As for the qualifying, I mean, I really didn't expect too much going into it, just maybe get the top 3, but I saw myself on pole with about, 5 minutes to go, and William again took it from me, broke my heart like he did at Jasper Marina. Moving on to the race, yeah, obviously I was on the 2-stop strategy. What kind of really messed me up was Eric getting in front of me at the start, because I completely missed the lights, but after that I stayed behind him. Tires were okay. Obviously got in early, came out in the lead. And then my second pit stop is what killed me, because I just got out behind too much traffic, David, and then Francisco. Francisco, he just did some masterful defending, and that was pretty much it for me.
I mean, yeah, Francisco is one of the hardest people to pass on the track, I would say.
That's an understatement.
Whenever I see him in 80cc and he's leading, you just don't get past him.
Yeah, I haven't had too many battles with Toby, but yeah. As far as TPS goes, no one. I've had more trouble overtaking than Francisco Villar.
So unlucky, Daniel. You got a decent 6th place in the end. It wasn't too bad. So it could be a lot worse. Yeah, could be a lot better as well, of course.
Exactly.
Now we move on to your victim, David Yun. David, maybe just talk us through that particular. You managed to get 7th in the end, which is probably where you would have finished with Danny's, obviously fresher tyres. So. Was pretty sore about that, but of course, in the end, it wasn't quite a net loss after Eric Tvite's attempt at overtaking you went badly wrong.
Oh yes, well, I think it doesn't stop me from maybe protesting that, because it cost me 9 seconds and probably wouldn't have even been attacked by Eric, and I saw how he went off in the last chicane, last lap, and I thought, well, now I've had it, 7th place, but I think I'm already happy, because just before qualifying I was changing setups and it didn't feel right once I had too much oversteer. Then the car didn't turn enough, and in the end I thought one stop could try, put all fuel in it and look, and it was really on the line, driving like on X or something, but it worked better than I thought, and we both came through the field again and we finished in the top 10. And
I mean, of course, you had much better lap speed at Simmons Plains and much better races. Why didn't you have that pace here today?
I think it has something to do that already from the start. I liked Simmons Plains because of the layout. I thought it's funny to drive on. Oran Park isn't bad. The layout is really great, but
heresy. Heresy.
Yeah, but somehow didn't came to terms with this track, and my setup wasn't, like always, not really good, and I've tried both mine, changed, and Adrian's, but I couldn't really find the middle point between it. And with this 7th place, as for now, I can't be much happier because I finished in front of Eric and Ross, who were so much faster actually in qualifying. So I think really happy for Nietzsche and Chris, who's also here and has been watching us. So great results for us in Team Championship.
Excellent. So, yeah, it's great results, of course. You two are always so well matched in races. I mean, why is that? You just generally matched for pace, or you decide to fly formation, or what happens there? Because every single race, it's always, you know, you're like 1 or 2 positions, you know, away from each other.
Yeah, indeed. And I think I sometimes practice drive and think, now I'll be fast a bit and Adrian, and then he comes back and just, well, kind of takes me when it's really important for him. So also happy that he's doing really well and showed that last race. And well, with 7th, I can't be really unhappy that I've made a good choice for this strategy, only for Danny to disrupt me a bit. I think we had a coming together around about 3 times on the whole event. I think practice, like maybe qualifying in our race. Well,
it's got it in for you, man. It's got it in for you.
Yeah, well, I was watching Wheeler and thought, no, Danny, not this time. Well, I'll stay ahead of you a bit longer, but maybe I shouldn't have. So, well,
yeah, different ideas.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you, David, and congratulations on your 7th place result as well. Always good to hear from you drivers, and thank you for entertaining us here today. Thank you to the viewers for watching along with us. Of course, you can tune in to the next event, which is in 2 weeks' time. Exactly 2 weeks' time, same time, 18:45 GMT. That's from Sydney Park, Sydney Olympic Park.
It'll be a terrifying race.
It was, well, it should be pretty much the same as here. And thank you guys for watching. Thank you to everybody who supports, of course, our racing. The people who make the mod, of course, Team ORSM. And of course, the people who make the track, of course, that's Brendan Pywell, who created the track, along with many other people, of course, ISI for rFactor, Multi-BC for the broadcast, Inside Sim Racing for our forum, Tim Brook for creating our website, of course, SimSync Pro for our download software, live races for our live timing, TeamSpeak, of course, just for this channel, really, just to do the commentary. And of course, to the viewers and the drivers for putting on this spectacle here today. Thank you everyone for watching. We'll join you in 2 weeks' time. I do apologise if my illness has made it not quite a smooth show. I'm really quite ill at the moment, and I apologise for that. But hopefully everything will be back to normal in 2 weeks' time at Sydney Park. As I say, the next race, of course, as you can see, is at Santa Cruz do Sul, 24th of August. Make sure you're there. Fantastic stuff, fantastic cars. Big beefed up Peugeots versus big beefed up Chevrolets. It really is superb stuff. V8 stock cars they are. Make sure you tune in to that. And thank you everyone for watching. We'll see you in 2 weeks' time for Virtual V8 Supercars, and in 6 days' time for the live broadcast of the World Super Tech Series. Thank you and good night.